we have today's essentials, which are cough drops, coffee, tissues, and a whole lot of Dayquil. We're gonna make it work. Hi guys, finally, welcome back. It feels as though it's been a while since I've sat down and talked to you guys because it has been a while, and I wanted to let you know what I've been up to and what's been going on with me in the last couple of weeks. So if you guys watched my Come to New York with Us video, you will know that we went into New York for a couple of days and had a blast. And up until that point, which was like up until like the middle of the month, I had been so on top of my reading. Like I was doing so well. It was 2 weeks into the month. I was 7 books down. We go to New York City, which I thought my reading would like slow down a little because we were so active, and it didn't. I actually got a decent amount of reading done before my husband and the kids woke up in the morning, and I was like so on top of it. Like I thought this was going to be a fire reading month. Like it was going to be fantastic. And then we come home from New York City, and the day after we come home, my 13-year-old son goes down for the count, gets very sick. 24 hours after that, myself and my 9-year-old go down. And the long and the short of it is I essentially woke up like 2 weeks later. I basically slept for 2 weeks. I don't know what was going on with us. I don't know if it was the flu or the Black Plague. I have no idea what it was, but I'm just finally in the last few days starting to perk back up. 2 days ago, for the first time in 2 weeks, I did pick up a book. I'm reading Shatter Me, and I sat there, and in the last 2 days I've made it like over 50% of the way through, but it was like the first few days that I felt physically strong enough to be able to hold anything in my hands. Like that's how sick I was. And I'm still getting over it. There's going to be a lot of cuts in this video because I'm going to try not to cough directly into the camera. And my voice is going to sound a little raspy, but this is such a marked improvement for me. And I'm so excited to be back. And I definitely wanted to get my February TBR up. So bear with me. We're going to push through. We're going to make it happen. But this month turned out not to be as good of a reading month as I had originally anticipated that it was going to be. I did finish, I believe, if I'm counting Shatter Me, I think I'm on either 7 or 8 books for the month, which is still great, but I did not finish my TBR. So we are going to have a very hit the reset button type of month. We're only going to do our 10 basic spins, and we're just going to allow me to kind of take it easy this month, transition back into health, transition back into reading. And I'm okay with that. I'm still hitting my Goodreads goal so far in the first month. Like I'm still, I think, 1 or 2 books ahead of my goal. So I'm doing okay there. But I just don't want to pressure myself because I'm still feeling very lethargic, very short of breath. So we're going to give myself some grace. We're going to do our basic 10 spins and get back into it. So as usual this month, we did make some changes to our wheel, so let's go ahead and go over what we did. All right, handy dandy iPad acquired. So here is what our spin for TBR wheel looked like at the beginning of last month. And when I was spinning in last month's video, I said, you know, I was wanting to get more of the wild spins, like the prompt spin, the Kindle spin, stuff like that. And it just didn't happen. The wheel didn't happen to be falling that way. And one of you guys amazingly in the comments, and if I remember to do this, I'll go back there and I'll actually link the comment here, or I'll show the comment here, but they said, why don't you double your wild spins, and that will make it, you know, a better chance that it hits it. So I loved that idea because it really gives me a little bit more variety in my TBR. So without further ado, let's go ahead and put up what our wheel looks like now. There it is, and I'm pulling it up on my end. For some reason, it's being a little slow. There it is. Okay. So this is what our wheel is going to look like now. Basically, what I did was I took our genre spin, our prompt spin, our Kindle spin, and our series spin, and I doubled them. So they're up on the wheel twice. But then also, I have decided in the year of 2024, I do not want to buy as many books. I want to make my way through my TBR and my physical TBR, my Kindle TBR, my ARCs, things like that, the books I already have. So instead of the buy one pie slice, I went ahead and I put in my 24 and 24 pie slice, which is from the video that I did where I prioritized 24 books in the year of 2024. So if I land on this pie slice, I am going to have to go ahead and go onto my 24 and 24 list and pick a book off of there. So let's make some progress on that list as well. We're all about the progress here in 2024. So there's 2 of those pie slices. I did keep the author first and last. I figured those counted as our 2 author slices. So that stayed the same. It's only on there once. But now, just by the law of proportions, we have double the chance of hitting these spins. Okay, so besides for that, we basically have the exact same wheel. We just doubled some stuff to increase our proportions. So without further ado, let's jump right into spin number 1. Okay. Let's screenshot, wait the 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Starting off with an absolute bang. Absolute bang. See, I love it. The theory of putting 2 slices per wheel is already paying off because we got a prompt spin. If you guys haven't seen the prompt wheel, this is what it looks like. There it is. There are over 500 prompts that I collated, compiled, looked over the internet for, made up myself, and it just adds a little bit of variety where I'm able to mood read just a smidge every single month. So let's go ahead and see what prompt we're going to get. Set in a library. Set in a library. Okay. So as per usual, we always select these wild ones at the end because it allows me to fill in the blanks of what I need. So I wrote that down, and we are going to go back over to our spin wheel and do spin number 2. Set in a library. That's an interesting prompt. All right. Let's see what spin number 2 gets for us. Shelf number 7. Shelf number 7. That might be a mystery thriller shelf. Okay, let's go look. The first crazy angle of the video. It wouldn't be a TBR with Lindsay if there wasn't at least one crazy angle, but as you can see, shelf 7 is all the way down here, so there's really no easy way to film this. So let's go ahead. There are 31 books on shelf 7. So, hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 31.
A random number between 1 and 31 is 22.
22. All right, let's see what that has in store for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 is Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, a cute little romance. I've actually been wanting to read this really, really bad, so that's a good start. Okay, Forget Me Not. That was a good first choice. I'm actually really excited about that one. I've been wanting to read that for a while. I've heard it's really good. So we are going to queue up our screen record for spin number 3. 1, 2, 3. I wasn't sure whether that was going to be 16 or 20, but that is shelf 20. And that is another romance shelf, and it's in the other room. Okay, here is shelf 20. As you can see, this has a lot of series on it. It has all my Tessa Baileys, all my Elle Kennedy, all my Krista and Becca Ritchie. It has my Kennedy Ryan on it. So there is a good chance that we are going to be in a series on this one. There's 39 books on this shelf. So, Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 39.
The answer is 26.
26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26. Okay, I'm not, okay, you know what? I'm being dramatic. I'm not as bummed about this one, but I'm not as excited, and I'll tell you why. That is Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. So I've talked about this in a couple of videos. My relationship with Tessa Bailey is a little bit mostly cold. Basically, the only book I've liked by her has been It Happened One Summer, which happened to be the first book that I read of hers. And nothing else has like lived up to the hype for me. And I feel like every Tessa Bailey book I read, I'm just chasing the high that was like It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. And they've all just kind of been disappointments. So Fix Her Up, love wasn't in the blueprints. Okay. Maybe this will be another It Happened One Summer and it'll be a banger. So we'll put this one right up on the TBR. Okay, so admittedly, that one wasn't the most excited I've ever been about a TBR pick, but sometimes those are the ones we're most pleasantly surprised by, so I'm not going to complain. Let's go ahead and do spin, what is this? 4, spin 4. A Kindle spin! Okay, a Kindle spin. Let's go ahead and pull up our Kindle wheel. So now you guys see how quickly this could get completely out of control. These are all the books that I have on my Kindle, and to be honest with you, I actually have a couple more that I haven't added yet. They were just ARCs that got sent over to me this morning. So I actually have 2 more that I have to add, but that's okay. Let's go ahead. See what we have on our TBR this month. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. We'll go ahead and put up Red Queen. Red Queen is a series that I'm super behind on. It's an older series that I just haven't gotten to yet, so I'm actually excited to get that one on my TBR and get that out of the way. Let's go back to our TBR wheel. See what we've got going on here. All right, spin number 5. Shelf 4, back in the other room. Is this going to be another crazy angle? This is going to be another crazy angle. All right, here we go. Here we are back at shelf 4. This down here is a mystery thriller shelf. It has my Jennifer Lynn Barnes and my Nina Johnson series and things like that. So let's see what it has in store. There are 25 books. Hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
Pick a number between 1 and 25.
The answer is 5.
5. That's easy. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Number 5 is actually 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson. This is, I don't know if it's technically the 5th book in the Hand on the Wall series. I think it's technically a standalone that goes along like after that series. So what we're actually going to put on our TBR is the first book in the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. Should we be crazy and spin for the first time from our crazy angle? Let's try it. Why not? Live wild, guys. Okay, let's pull up our TBR wheel and spin from our crazy angle. 1, 2, 3. And lucky we did, because all we have to do is shift over to shelf number 6 right here. All right, let's get this done. All right, here is shelf number 6. It's another, well, it's half mystery thriller and half just my little collection of literary fiction. This is my least favorite shelf. I am not excited about this, depending on what gets picked. So we shall see. This one has 16 books on it. Hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
Pick a number between 1 and 16.
A random number between 1 and 16 is 15.
15. Okay. So we could do this one of two ways. I think what we're going to do is we're going to grab, here we go, the second to last book in our vertical stack right here. And that is The Secret Book of Flora Lee by Patty Callahan Henry. I am so excited about this. This was kind of the best case scenario. There were like, out of the 16 books on the shelves, there were like 4 that I would have been happy getting, and this was one of them, so that works out. Okay, next spin, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Author first name spin. Okay, let's pull up our, where is it? Author first and last name wheel, and go ahead and see what the author's first name is going to have to start with. Author's first name that starts with the letter T. Okay? We'll do that at the end. So let's go ahead and do another spin. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, we're staying right in this corner. Let's go over to shelf number 2 right here. Okay, shelf number 2 right here is a mystery thriller shelf, and it has 19 books on it. Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 19.
The answer is 6.
6. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is One of Us Is Next by Karen McManus. This is the sequel to One of Us Is Lying. Okay, I was going to say, is this the second or the third? So I read One of Us Is Lying a couple of months ago. Cute little YA thriller. And this is the sequel. So we'll go ahead and knock this right off of our sequel spin as well. Okay, if my calculations are correct, this should be spin number 9. So let's go ahead and see what the wheel has in spin for us. In turn for us. Shelf number 10. That is back to a crazy angle in the other room. Gosh darn it. All right, here we go. Guys, we just cannot escape these crazy angles this month. It just really wants us to be on these weird angles. But shelf number 10 is a fantasy shelf. Hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
Pick a number 1 through 26.
It's 10.
10, okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay. Oh boy. Why are we also consistently getting like bottom of the stack books? So I have to sit here and try to move the entire stack to get to them. All right, let's get this taken out. Wait, let me double check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay. So here is our bottom of the stack book, which is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. I have heard very, very, very mixed things about this book, so I'm excited to see if I'm going to like it. Okay, this is me manifesting just like a normal angle, please. So let's go ahead for our last spin. I might do one additional spin, and I know that's cheating, but I do really, really want to give myself a ton of options this month to get me back into reading, and I don't love the variety of selection that I have yet. So let's just see what happens here and we'll go from there. All right, ready? Last spin, potentially. Oh, I gotta eat lunch, guys, sorry. Author first name again. Okay, author first name again. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Author first name that begins with H. Okay. All right, let's get our wild spin choices made. And we'll go from there and we'll see if we're going to do another spin, because those might add the variety that I need. And I do kind of want to keep it at 10. So let's go ahead and discuss our wild spins. Okay, not even going to lie. I took a little break. I went and got a Chipotle chicken Philly from Jersey Mike's and a Diet Coke from McDonald's and ate it, because since I've been sick, the energy just gets like leached out of my body so quickly, and I was dragging. Like, the energy is at an all-time low today. So let's pick our wilds. We have to do a book set in a library, and then an author whose first name begins with T, and an author whose first name begins with H. So let's go ahead and pull some options from our shelves, and then we'll sit down and talk about it.
My headspace been weaker, it's been waiting for the right day. Like the right day ever comes, now it's Friday and nothing's changed. Mistakes that everyone is making, but I can't change. I'm stuck in reverse like an old Benz. Forgot to tap it up. Now I long for another day where things fall into place.
Okay, we are back with our selections. Okay, so the first selection we're going to make is book set in a library. And this actually was a little bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And I did take a little bit of creative licensing on this one, but we did end up coming up with two options. So the first one, hear me out, is Bookshops and Bone Dust. Now, I know that this isn't necessarily a library, but it is a bookshop. So that was close enough, and my options were really limited. So my game, my rules, and I'm going to go ahead and decide that it counts. So this is the sequel to Legends and Lattes, which is about a retired war orc who moves to a small, quiet town and opens a coffee shop. The only catch was none of the people in the town had actually heard of coffee, so she needed to explain to them and like acclimate them and introduce them to coffee. And this is the sequel. It's a cozy fantasy and it was very cute. So that is option number one. Option number two is, let me pull it up here. Am I not remembering what this book is? Oh, no, I am. Okay. Okay. Is going to be The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I do have this on my Kindle, and this actually was suggested by one of my fabulous subscribers named Madison. She's amazing, and she told me that she read this book and immediately thought that I would really like it. So let me read you the synopsis. It says, two strangers find themselves connected by a vast and mysterious library containing many wonders and still more secrets in this powerfully moving first book in a new series from the international best-selling author of Red Sister and Prince of Thorns. The boy has lived his whole life trapped within a book-choked chamber older than empires and larger than cities. The girl has been plucked from the outskirts of civilization to be trained as a librarian, studying the mysteries of the great library at the heart of her kingdom. They were never supposed to meet, but in the library they did. Their stories spiral around each other across worlds and time. This is a tale of truth and lies and hearts, and the blurring of one into another, a journey on which knowledge erodes certainty, and on which, through the pen may be mightier than the sword, blood will be spilled and cities burned. So I'm going to be honest with you, that sounds awesome. It's a little vague, but it sounds awesome, and because it was suggested as something that I specifically would love, and because I feel that this more specifically fits the prompt of being set in a library, we are going to go ahead and put The Book That Wouldn't Burn on our TBR for this month. Okay, so next I picked through my shelves for an author that began with T, and I came up with a couple of options. There's more on my shelves, but these were just the ones that like made the short list. So the first book I grabbed was The Do-Over by T.L. Swan. This is the first book in the Miles High Club, and it is, I think, is it like a bully romance? It says, a A billionaire playboy goes incognito on a backpacking trip in Europe, but how long can he hide from love? I'm wealthy, powerful, and able to get any woman I want, so why do I feel so empty inside? In search of a deeper me, I take a sabbatical from my privileged life, 1 year of backpacking around Europe, a new identity, no contacts, and no money. Not a bad plan, I think, until I get there. A crowded hostel room, body odor, and beer bongs. There are no words for the fresh hell I've landed in. But amid the chaos, I meet my new roommate, Hayden Whitmore. She sleeps in the bed opposite me, and I openly admit to staring at her more than I sleep. That's a little creepy. Beautiful, innocent, and smart. Not my usual type, but perhaps the perfect woman. There's just one small problem with the divine Miss Hayden. She's totally unaffected by my charm. Nothing is working, and now I've been friend-zoned. What? But the good thing about me is that I'm an incredible problem solver, and I've come up with a diabolical plan. I'm going to slide right in under her friend zone, be the best damn friend she ever had, hold her hand, make her laugh, and spoon with her in bed. But now there's another problem. Hayden is the one who's sliding under my skin, and maybe friendship isn't enough. I don't know about this. Okay. It's an option. It's an option, and it is a romance. We don't have a lot of romances. So the next one I have is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This one says, some legacies are meant to be broken. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants nothing to do with her family memories or childhood home. A residential program for bright young high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill seems like the perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus, a flying demon feeding on human energies, a secret society of so-called Legendborn students that hunts the creatures down, and a mysterious teenage mage who calls herself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. Okay, that sounds cool. The next option I have is Crush by Tracy Wolff. This is the second book in the Crave series. I did recently read Crave in the last couple of months and I really liked it. So I'm not going to read the synopsis because it's the second book, but the first book is about a girl who loses her parents in a tragic accident and is sent to live in Alaska with her uncle, who is the headmaster of what she finds out to be a creature, like a magical creature school. So there's everything in this book. There's vampires, there's werewolves, there's telepathy, there's time shifters, there's all sorts of stuff. So it was very good, so I could move on to the second one. Or I could go into Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. Now, Trisha Levenseller wrote The Shadows Between Us, which I really loved. It was like a bachelor vampire type book, and I really, really loved it. And I loved her writing, and I've wanted to get into this. This is actually the Fairy Lou edition. So I could do this one. This one says, 17-year-old Alosa, daughter of the feared Pirate King, is sent on a mission to retrieve an ancient hidden map, the key to a legendary treasure trove. The catch? She must conceal her considerable combat skills and allow herself to be captured by her enemies, giving her the perfect opportunity to search their ship. More than a match for the ruthless pirate crew, Alosa has only one thing standing between her and the map, her captor, the unexpectedly clever and unfairly attractive first mate Raiden. But luckily, Alosa has a few tricks up her sleeve, and no lone pirate can stop the Daughter of the Pirate King. That sounds good. Okay, so if we're looking at our options, right off the bat, I'm eliminating the do-over. This synopsis gave me the ick, and I'm just not my journey for this month. So we're between Crush, Legendborn, and Daughter of the Pirate King. I think I'm going Daughter of the Pirate King because I've really wanted to get into this. Okay, and for the last wild, we had an author whose first name began with H. And we have the Battle of the Hannahs and one Helen for this one. So let's go ahead and get the Helen out of the way. So the first book I found was Heart of Mist, is book 1 in the Oromir Chronicles by Helen Shorer. It says, in a realm where toxic mist sweeps the lands and magic is forbidden, all Bleak wants is a cure for her power. Still grieving the death of her guardian and dangerously self-medicating with alcohol, Bleak is snatched from her home by the commander of the king's army and summoned to the capital. But the king isn't the only one interested in Bleak's powers. The leader of an infamous society of warriors, the Valia Kindred, lays claim to her as well, and Bleak finds herself in the middle of a much bigger battle than she anticipated. What I do like about this book too is it is like 430 pages, but the writing in it is really big. Okay. Now the Battle of the Hannahs. So the first Hannah is Hannah Nicole Marer, and we have Assistant to the Villain. This is a book, I believe it's pretty similar to what it sounds, that this girl accepts a job as the assistant to a villain. It says, assistant wanted, notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem and terror, and other dark things in general. Discretion a must, excellent benefits. With ailing family to support, Evie Sage's employment status isn't just important, it's vital. So when a mishap with Renadon's most famous villain results in a job offer, naturally she says yes. No job is perfect, but of course, even less so when you develop a teeny crush on your terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. Don't find evil so attractive, Evie. But just when she's getting used to severed heads suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of an errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just the literal kind. Because something rotten is growing in the kingdom of Renadon, and someone wants to take the villain and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must not only resist ruling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who is sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find. That sounds really good. Okay. Then the second Hannah is Hannah Witten and the Foxglove King. I've had this book forever. I do think I also have a couple of these on my Kindle as well. But I've had this book forever. Now, I have heard conflicting things about this book. I have heard some people that love it and other people say that it's too slow and they haven't liked it. So it says, it's a gilded, gothic, and romantic new epic fantasy series about a young woman's secret power to raise the dead, plunging her into the dangerous world of the sainted king's royal court. Oh wow, look at this map. That's a really, really beautiful map, too, but sorry, that just caught my eye. That's really pretty. Laura has been living by her wits since she was a child, running poisons for the cartel that took her in, avoiding the attention of the law, and keeping her affinity for death magic a secret. Because mortem is a rare and illicit commodity, and using it could mean death. When a job goes wrong and Laura is captured by the Sainted King's warrior monks, she expects a pyre. But King August has a different plan. Entire villages on the outskirts of the country have been dying overnight, seemingly at random. Laura can either use her magic to find out what's happening or die, and the king suspects his arrogant, handsome heir is behind it. Thrust into a lavish court where no one can be believed and even fewer can be trusted, Laura must navigate an intricate web of politics, religion, forbidden romance, and solve the king's mystery. A mystery more dangerous and twisted than Laura can even imagine. Okay. And then last but not least, the final Hannah is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is a hockey romance about a main female character who's a figure skater and a main male character who is a hockey player, and because of some technical maintenance issues they meet because they have to share a rink. I don't really want to know too much more, but I know a lot of people absolutely love this and say this is fantastic. So I'm eliminating Heart of Mist off the bat. This sounds a little bit too epic high fantasy for me if I'm wanting kind of an easier month. I also think I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the Foxglove King because once again, I've heard that this is a slow read and I want to take it easy on myself this month and not really read something that might put me in a slump. So I'm between Assistant to the Villain and Icebreaker. If I'm looking at my stack, I have Fix Her Up and Forget Me Not on it, which are romances. Last Tale of the Flower Bride, our Secret Book of Floralee is kind of fantasy. Daughter of the Pirate King is fantasy. You know, I think I'm going to go with my gut and put Icebreaker by Hannah Grace on there. It's also Kindle Unlimited, so I could switch between my Kindles. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one on our TBR. Okay, so let's recap our stack. So the first spin that we did, we got a prompt spin, and it was a book set in a library, and for that one we went with The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. Then we went and got Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, cute little romance about a florist for a wedding, I believe. A florist and a wedding planner, that's what it is. So cute little romance. The next one we got is Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. Once again, this is a classic kind of Tessa Bailey rom-com, and it's about Georgette Castle's family who runs the best home renovation business in town. And she meets, let's see. Oh, I guess she doesn't really want to be doing it anymore. It says she's kind of over it. Georgie loves planning children's birthday parties and making people laugh, just not at her own expense. And that she hasn't been on a date in a while, and she meets this guy named Travis. So probably going to be your classic little Tessa Bailey rom-com. Probably a girl who's sort of a mess, falls in love with this guy who loves her despite her messiness. That's typically what it is. Then we got Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is a YA mystery thriller series. It says, Ellingham Academy is a famous private school in Vermont, founded by an early 20th century tycoon for the best and brightest students around. When Ellingham's wife and daughter were kidnapped, the only clue was a mocking riddle listing methods of murder, signed with the frightening pseudonym Truly Devious. Their disappearance became one of the greatest unsolved crimes in history. Many years later, true crime aficionado Stevie Bell is set to begin her first year at the academy, and she is determined to solve this cold case. That is, she will solve it when she gets a grip on her demanding new school life and her housemates. The inventor, the novelist, the actor, the artist, and the jokester. But Truly Devious makes a surprise return. The past has crawled out of its grave and someone has gotten away with murder. There you go. Okay, so then we got Red Queen, which is on my Kindle, and it says, it's a sweeping tale of power, intrigue, and betrayal, perfect for fans of George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones series. It says, Mayor Barrow's world is divided by blood. Those with common red blood serve the silver-blooded elite, who are gifted with superhuman abilities. Mare is a red, scraping by as a thief in a poor rural village until a twist of fate throws her in front of the Silver Court. Before the king, princess, and all the nobles, she discovers she has an ability of her own. To cover up this impossibility, the king forces her to play the role of a lost silver princess and betroths her to one of his own sons. As Mar is drawn further into the silver world, she risks everything and uses her new position to help the Scarlet Guard, a growing red rebellion, even as her heart tugs her in an impossible direction. One wrong move can lead to her death, but in the dangerous game she plays, the only certainty is betrayal. Sounds good. The next book we got was The Secret Book of Flora Lee. This book I'm very excited about. This is a little bit more lit fic than I usually go, but I do know that this is about a girl who tells her little sister a bedtime story about this magical world called Whisperwood every single night, and she creates this world and this story for her little sister with this specific, like I said, world and characters. And then her sister tragically goes missing. They assume that she drowned in the Thames. So fast forward 15, 20 years, and the woman now works in a library or a bookstore or a publishing company, something like that. And a book comes across her desk, which is the story of Whisperwood, which is the only story she ever told only her sister who went missing. So I think the mystery becomes, is her sister alive? Who did her sister tell about the story? How does this person know about this Whisperwood story? And I've heard it's very, very good, so I'm excited for this one. Next, we had to pick a book which was an author with the first name of T, and we went with Daughter of the Pirate King, by Trisha Levenseller. Oh no. Oh geez Louise, okay. Knocking over my whole stack. Up next came One of Us is Next by Karen McManus. This is the sequel to One of Us is Lying, which was a YA mystery about these students who were put in detention, and then one of the kids dies in detention and they have to figure out who did it. So, sequel to that. Next is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. Like I said when I picked this, I've heard some kind of polarizing opinion about this. Some people love this book and some people don't. So it seems pretty short, which is good, but it says, it's a sumptuous Gothic-infused story about a marriage that is unraveled by dark secrets, a friendship cursed to end in tragedy, and the danger of believing in fairy tales. It says, once upon a time, a man who believed in fairy tales married a beautiful, mysterious woman named Indigo Maxwell Castaneda. He was a scholar of myths. She was the heiress to a fortune. They exchanged gifts and stories and believed they would live happily ever after. In exchange for her love, Indigo promised Indigo extracted a promise that her bridegroom would never pry into her past. But when Indigo learns that her estranged aunt is dying and the couple is forced to return to her childhood home, the House of Dreams, the bridegroom will soon find himself unable to resist. For within the crumbling manor's extravagant rooms and musty halls lurks the shadow of another girl, Azure, Indigo's dearest childhood friend who suddenly disappeared. As the house slowly reveals his wife's secrets, the bridegroom will be forced to choose between reality and fantasy, even if doing so threatens his marriage or his life. Okay, little gothic fairy tale. I gotta take a sip, guys. I get so out of breath. It's brutal. Woo, okay. And last but not least is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. So this says, he's the one thing she couldn't plan for. Anastasia Allen has worked her entire life for a shot at Team USA. It looks like everything is going according to plan when she gets a full scholarship to the University of California, Maple Hills, and lands a place on their competitive figure skating team. Nothing will stand in her way, not even the captain of the hockey team, Nate Hawkins. Nate's focus as team captain is on keeping his team on the ice, which is tricky when a facilities mishap means they are forced to share a rink with the figure skating team, including Anastasia, who clearly can't stand him. But when Anastasia's skating partner faces an uncertain future, she may have to look to Nate to take her shot. Sparks fly, but Anastasia isn't worried because she can never like a hockey player, right? Cute. So here it is. Here is the official stack. This is 8 out of the 10 and the other 2 are on my Kindle. So tell me what you have read out of this stack, what you liked or what you want to see in next month's Spin TBR, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye guys.